Welcome back. Now, more than 100 medical experts are demanding about 150 million rand from the Road Traffic Accident Fund. The group is on a campaign to be paid for evidence submitted during claims or have reports thrown out by the courts as intellectual property that doesn't belong to the agency. It has also written to incoming Chief Justice Raymond Zondo about this. Mariëtte Minnie, the director of MMB Made Easy, who is leading the group, is joining us now virtually to tell us a bit more. Mariëtte, tell me, how long has it been and how much is the RAF really owing to professionals who once were fighting for those who were in accidents?
Hi, good afternoon. Currently, there's just over 100 experts that have joined hands together, and it's well over 100 million rand that is due to them. Services provided. These services were requested by the RAF. They were needed by the RAF. They were provided to the RAF. They were used by the RAF. But payment just doesn't seem to be coming our way. It's been years. There's been quite a number of contracts. There's been dozens of directives since these contracts. I maybe want to add contradictive directives by the Road Accident Fund, and they just refuse to pay.
Tell me the scenarios of some of these service providers in terms of how long they've been waiting for payment.
Well, since the first contract started in 2015, there hasn't really been systems in place. So the previous contracts basically just get left behind and sort of forgotten. And like I said, they bring in directives to change these. So it seems like they're just finding a way the whole time to not honor their obligations. Just when you think everything is going to be okay, then some or other directive changes the previous contract.
What has stopped
so it is since 2015.
So what has stopped these service providers from taking the RAF to court or something? I mean, since 2015, that's 7 years providing services that you're not being paid for.
So many promises were made. There's been so many meetings between the experts and the Road Accident Fund where so many promises were made that the experts didn't want to do the legal route. It's timeous, it's costly, it's something it's not really the route we wanted to go. But a part of these 100 experts, some of them have now decided to take the legal route. They've consulted an attorney and they have started the legal process, yes.
Just tell me, you also mentioned here that easy to the leading, even the RAF's own service legal agreements state that all intellectual property remains the property of the owner, and ownership of any documentation only belong to the fund once it's paid for. I think this was one of your main concerns. Just elaborate for those of us who need you to elaborate in layman's terms.
A doctor was asked to provide an expert opinion, and that's exactly what he did. And it remains his intellectual property until it was paid for. And that is according to the Road Accident Fund service level agreement, that the property will remain the expert's until it is paid for. But now the Road Accident Fund is not paying for these services, although they are using it. And that is why we asked the court to please stop using this intellectual property. It hasn't been paid for. And for us, it actually just means that it's stolen. The Road Accident Fund is providing the court with stolen property. They have no intention to pay for it, but they want to continue to use it.
Have they said anything to the experts about, their monetary issues? Have they made that an excuse at all?
No, they're making a service level agreement that they entered into between their former panel attorneys. They're using that as an excuse. At the moment, there's been hundreds of excuses in the past, but the current excuse is the service level agreement that they entered into in 2014 with the former panel of attorneys. That is the excuse, because that contract says that the attorneys will be liable for payment of the experts' accounts. But since that contract was entered into, like I said, dozens of directives were issued. And directives will continue to be issued because the RAF doesn't have systems in place. They think they have systems in place, but as soon as a service level agreement is entered into, the agreement can't work out because there aren't systems in place, and then directives are issued.
Just lastly, and very quickly, you've written to the Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo. I assume that that's how serious you see this, if you go straight to the Chief Justice. Did you ever write to the President, for instance? Why the Chief Justice, and what are you hoping he helps you with?
Yeah, we wrote to the Chief Justice because he manages all the courts. We were hoping that, he would assist us. That they would regard this as stolen property and not be willing to use stolen property. That's why we went there. We went to the Minister of Transport, the SIU, Public Protector, NPA, and no, unfortunately, these bodies that are set up to protect the South Africans have unfortunately not responded to us.
Very sad indeed. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Mariëtte Minnie. She is the director of MMB Made Easy. We're hoping that the RAF will respond to the claims. Let's move to this.